All right, today we're diving deep into something pretty wild. MicroStrategy's obsessive, relentless quest for Bitcoin. They've made a name for themselves by just constantly buying. And, well, they've just done it again. Let's break down their latest move.
So what's the big number? What did they just do this past week? Well, here it is, 2,932.
Yep, that's how many more Bitcoin just landed in MicroStrategy's already massive treasure chest. And this wasn't some small pickup. This little shopping trip cost them $264 million. That averages out to about 90 grand a coin. For them, this is just business as usual. You know, what's hilarious is watching the crypto community react to these buys. They're so consistent, it's almost become a running joke. One person referencing a classic movie just asked, "Is this stacking for ants?" And that, right there, perfectly captures the insane expectations the market now has for these guys. So this begs the obvious question, right? Where on earth is all this money coming from? How does one company just keep finding hundreds of millions of dollars to pour into one single asset? Let's take a look under the hood of their so-called Bitcoin ATM machine. The engine that powers all this is a financial tool called an at-the-market offering, or ATM for short. Now think of it like this. It gives MicroStrategy the power to sell its own company stock, MSTR, right on the open market whenever they feel like it. It's basically like having a button to print cash on demand. And take a look at this. It shows you exactly how they funded this latest buy. You can see the overwhelming majority, we're talking $257 million, came straight from selling their stock through that ATM. Only a tiny little piece, about $7 million, came from somewhere else. Clearly, the ATM is the whole game here. So here's the really smart part of their strategy. They don't just blindly print money and buy. Their whole mantra is to ATM into strength. What that means is they sell more of their stock when its price is high, which, usually happens when Bitcoin is also doing well. The market was a little weaker this past week, so their buy was a little smaller, but let's be real, it's still a massive move by anyone else's standards. And this is where you see this huge disconnect. While MicroStrategy is just calmly executing its plan, the rest of the market has been, well, it's been pretty scared. Let's look at the market's fear versus MicroStrategy's laser focus. Just think about this number for a second. 117. According to a pretty popular index, that's how many days in just the last year that the Bitcoin market has been in a straight-up negative state. And to put that into perspective, that means for 40% of the entire last year, the main emotion driving the market has been fear, or even extreme fear. I mean, that is a brutal environment for any investor to be in, let alone a public company making these huge bets. I mean, look at this. The two signals couldn't be more different. On one side, you've got the market just screaming fear, weakness, uncertainty. And on the other side, you have MicroStrategy sending one single crystal clear signal. We are buying. They're just playing a totally different game. So we know how they're doing it, but we gotta ask why, right? What's the core belief system that lets a company so confidently go against the grain like this? And that brings us to what you could call the Saylor doctrine. And really, when you boil it all down, the belief is, well, it's shockingly simple and honestly kind of wild. It's the absolute conviction of their CEO, Michael Saylor, that no matter the volatility, no matter the fear, Bitcoin's long-term direction is, and I'm quoting him here, it's going up forever. Saylor has this great analogy about sales pitches to explain his vision. He says a small idea is just selling your company, right? Buy our stock. A bigger idea is selling a product. But the greatest idea of all, it's giving your customers a tool to make themselves great. And in his eyes, Bitcoin is that tool. MicroStrategy is just showing the world how to use it. And this way of thinking leads to this grand vision called hyperbitcoinization. But it's not some wild fantasy where governments and big companies disappear. Not at all. It's a future where they all just adopt Bitcoin as a foundational layer for the economy. It's a vision where Bitcoin is for everyone, and we all win by building on this new digital foundation together. Okay, so with that crazy conviction driving them, where is all this headed? What's the endgame? Well, there is a very, very specific and incredibly ambitious goal they're aiming for. This is their march to 1 million Bitcoin. As of right now, with this latest buy, MicroStrategy officially holds 712,647 Bitcoin, I mean, that is an amount that's bigger than the reserves of most countries. It's absolutely unprecedented. So that leaves them with only, and I'm using very heavy air quotes there, 287,000 Bitcoin to go before they hit their goal of 1 million. And to hit that target by their deadline, they're going to need to buy almost 6,000 Bitcoin a week. That's double the pace of what they did this past week. And all of it, the ATM, buying into the fear, the unwavering belief, this march to 1 million, it all just boils down to one simple, powerful question that everyone in the market asks every single time they do this. What does Saylor know that the rest of us don't?